Hey everyone, Jim T. Graham with RCGroups.com, and today we're looking at the ReadyMadeRC 32-inch. I call it an FPV wing. Essentially, it's just a wing, but it's made by MS Composite. It's a Swift 2. It is a 32-inch wing, and the price on this is only $39.99. Now, that does not include all the things you're going to need to get it going. But let's talk about some construction. I used foam tack to glue just about everything down on this airplane. Foam tack, and you'll see a picture in a minute, is a glue that allows you put it on the surfaces and pull them apart a few times. It creates a spider web, and then the third or fourth pull, you'll put those together and they'll stick really well. And so here's the motor mount. This is just sitting on here. It actually is glued onto the wing itself. It's not embedded or screwed down or anything like that. And the concept there is that it allows your power system, which we see here, to pop off in the event of a horrific crash. So the power system is one that you can buy off the same page from ReadyMadeRC. This consists of the 2210 Outrunner, two 9-gram servos, and a 15 to 20 amp ESC. This is spinning a 8x6 prop, and I'm using a 1300 3-cell. They said you should use a 9 to 1000, but I went with that. Here's a picture of the foam tack if you want to go grab that. And I also use medium mercury adhesive CA on a few parts. So here we see the motor actually attached to the mount, and I just used the existing screws that came with the motor. Very simple. And then I went off the charts a little bit and ordered some carbon fiber and embedded these in the wing. The trick here is to only cut your slice the depth of the CF. Don't go any deeper than that. And then I used foam tack literally just to, I ran a bead, put it in, and created what I thought was structurally sound. And this was in place of directional tape. I was trying to do something cleaner. Here we see my servos. They're foam tacked in, and the receiver didn't really stay there. I tried a bunch of different positions. I cut out some slots at the top of the holes for the arms to move freely in, and there were also some tubes included that I foam tacked and then taped down just for added security. This keeps the wire from flexing when you're actuating your servos. And here are the control horns. This comes with it. You just I poked 2 holes with a small screwdriver and foam tacked those in, no problem. And then I actually, in this photo, have the motor mount glued to the wing, and I used foam tack there. And after flying, it worked great. I did use tape over the top of my servos for no good reason. They would have stayed in anyway. And then control horns to kind of protect the arms. There was no control horn protector. So let's look at what we've got here. I've got the receiver in. I've got my, I did cut small slits for the servo wires, and then I put directional tape on there. This was kind of a, hey, let's see how this works after the first flight. And then you see my control horn there in front of the servo as a protector. And so this led to a problem. I didn't leave a place for the battery underneath the wing, but when I flipped it over, I thought, okay, I'm going to have to put the battery on top. And that solved another problem that I had. Where was I going to put my FPV camera? So I very carefully cut about halfway through the wing where the battery could live on the top, and then I put Velcro on my batteries, and my FPV camera now will sit on the battery. I have wires coming up from the receiver, and I did that so that the receiver wasn't hanging out the bottom side. And I also needed a wire for one of the cameras I wanted to try from Horizon. You'll see that here. It plugs into the receiver itself. It's powered from it, and it can be controlled. So there you see my battery. It lives on the top. I have a strap, and it plugs into the ESC, which I have living on the motor mount. And all of this worked with the CG, thank goodness. I wasn't sure what I had until I actually got it out into the field and threw it. So it's pretty clean. I will say I didn't crash it, and you'll see in a second the flight video, but I did land it hard a few times. No problems. I definitely want to clean up how I did my tape, but for the initial flight, I think it did well. And so what we're about to do is jump into a video of me at the field, and this is out at Edwin Warner. And so there we see my DX9, my little wing. Oh, and that's a 1,000-mile stare. I guess that was for luck. And then here's all the other gear. I always will run a secondary backup unit for the FPV. And so Jason Cole went out with me, and we took the wing, and it was pretty windy. It was like 10 and gusting to 12 to 14. And so we're talking about a 32-inch wingspan EPP wing that I weighed in on my scales. I believe it was around 460, 480 grams. So that's not very heavy. And on a wing, all you have are your little winglets, to keep you tracking straight. So this was, I think Jason had voiced a concern that it was pretty windy out here. And so we didn't know what we were going to get. This is actually our maiden flight. This is the first throw. And I'm at the sticks. And so we're trimming it out a little bit. We trimmed it out for the throw, and really there was no trim. Now, that's kind of the beautiful part about flying FPV. You're in the cockpit, so you're flying it from within the cockpit, and trimming it's easier, and flying it's easier as well. But I will say it was really stable in this heavy wind, or medium wind, I guess. Medium wind on a light airplane. And the great part about this is you're flying FPV, but you're flying an aircraft that's not a quadcopter. So I was at dinner or breakfast today, and I had an older pilot asking me what's it like to fly a quad. And I said it's kind of like driving a car on ice, because when you turn, that back end is coming around, and there are ways to get exactly where you want to go. But it's not like an airplane. An airplane flies differently than a quadcopter, and that's kind of why I wanted to go this route. Plus, MultiGP just opened up a wing division, so that not only do you have to fly, or you're not limited to quads, you can also fly wings, and this falls in one of their wing divisions. So I thought, well, heck, let's get a wing going. It's not expensive. That's the other great part. $38 for the airframe, and all you have to do is glue it together. I will say this, I thought I would be able to put it together in a matter of minutes, and there were a lot of steps. Now, it's not complicated, but it definitely took some time to get everything on there. Having built this once, if I had to build another one, I'm sure my build time would be cut in half, because I know what I'm doing. But in the review, I'll actually go through some of those steps. You saw the images here, and when I say in the review, I have a full review on rcgroups.com. There'll be a link in the description of this video on YouTube. You can click on that and go look closely at the pictures that I've shot, and I'll have some more descriptions, weights, links, and all those other things you need if you actually want to buy and fly this airplane. So I flew it. Jason flew it for this backyard cruising for, a pasture like this. It's awesome. Now, the next phase of this is to get the gates out. So what I want to do is get a course set up in this field, and Jason, of course, will show up with a 60-mile-an-hour race quad, Par Deluxe. But I want to bring the wing out. So the other great thing about a wing, it's a TPP, the prop's on the back. If you smack into a gate, it's light enough that nothing catastrophic is going to occur to your airframe. You could fly into your car. You don't want to fly into your car, but if you did, nothing major would happen. That's awesome. So Jason here is like, I'm walking out to the field, Jim. I want you to fly next to me so I can get some photographs of it flying by. And that's also a thing where I considered, I don't have a big prop in front of me. I'm not flying a heavy-duty carbon fiber quad with 4 props buzzing around somebody. I'm flying a little wing. And once again, you want to be safe, and you don't want to hit anyone. But if you did with this wing, I really don't think it would hurt anything or anybody. So that's a great point. It just took me to. There's a sense of flying FPV at no stress. That's what I'm looking for. The stress level is gone. Short of flying this into a tree and not being able to get it down, there's really nothing else to worry about. You're not really going to break a prop. You can fly this thing into a pole and it might dent it. Worst case scenario, you rip it and then you take your foam adhesive and glue it back together, and it's stronger than it was before. So I think that's where I'm going to go. Easy build, not expensive, flies like a plane, lightweight, throw it in the back seat. If you're already an RC plane pilot, your skill set's already there. And so then you add a lightweight FPV camera to this thing, once again, low cost. And you have your goggles, and bam, you're FPV flying. And theoretically, you could be in a multi-GP race with this very inexpensive fun to fly unit. So what I just reeled off there is exactly why I wanted to build a wing and get it going for spring. And I'm excited to have it. I will have this kind of dates the video a little bit, but I will have this wing at Toledo. We're doing an FPV seminar, so I'm going to bring the wing. I'm going to bring the goggles that I like to use. They're not goggles, they're head plays. I use an RHO lens in there for my eyes to make everything sharper. And then I also use a dual diversity 9-inch monitor, and it has a DVR built into it. And this is kind of my setup, so I will have that in the seminar. We'll talk about what we like, why we like it, and how we use it. So please join us there. If you see this video before Toledo this year, if you see it after, we'll probably be at Toledo the next year doing the same seminar on FPV, so you can join us then. So hopefully this has answered your question. Just to recap, it's a ReadyMadeRC MS Composite Swift 2. It's a 32-inch wingspan. The airframe itself is $40, and bang, in the grass. And then you can buy everything you need for this off the same page that you buy this at ReadyMadeRC. The links will be in the review that you can find in my description. And I really like this bird. I'm going to tweak it a little bit and add a few things. But other than that, it's pretty awesome right out of the box. So thanks for watching. I hope this has helped. I'm Jim T. Graham with rcgroups.com. Have a great week.